Taking a thin stick of charcoal, placing it on its side and rubbing gently and evenly over the surface of the paper till the entire surface of the paper is a silvery grey. I then smooth out the charcoal using a tissue to lighten it and unify it into a single tone. Next of all, I start by drawing the main shapes, concentrating on the proportions and the different character of form of the bulbous fruit and vegetables. I always have a focal point to start with that I then navigate and draw away from. In this drawing, I started with the spring onions. Next of all, I look closely at the still life and squint at it to reduce down the detail and pick out the main areas of light and dark. I look closely at the still life and notice the pumpkin is segmented into ribs. The onion's skin is dry and peels away, revealing the shiny onion underneath. There are concentric rings on top of the turnip. With a kneaded eraser, I make a point and start erasing the whites, drawing subtractively. Once all the light areas are revealed, I begin by working on the dark areas with charcoal, referring to the still life for tonal values and textures. I try to manipulate the charcoal to sculpt the illusion of form on the 2D surface of paper. I migrate from an area I have understood to a new territory, working on the whole area a bit like a photograph in a developing tray. Whilst working in charcoal, it's important not to use fixative too early, as this will prevent the putty rubber from being able to rub back to the white. To prevent smudging, place a piece of paper beneath your palm. So we work from the main shapes and the main volumes of form to the surface details and textures. I try to take pleasure in the imperfections of the fruit and vegetables. With the pencil's finer tip, it's possible to achieve a greater level of detail. Even so, I bear it in my mind that I'm still just trying to create an impression of what I'm looking at, rather than a precise copy. Say, for example, the texture of the cabbage would be impossible to replicate exactly, so I'm trying to get an overall feeling of those veins and that ribbed surface. Once the drawing is completed, spray with fixative so that the charcoal doesn't smudge.